Hello folks, welcome to my channel again. I haven't been out really riding for the last couple of weekends because I had a little bit of a back injury and haven't been able to ride. So I did get out on the weekend and I thought it would be a good time to do a quick walk around of my machine. For anyone who hasn't watched before, it's a 2023 Canam Maverick Sport XRC model. Love machine. But like every other manufacturer, they come from the dealerships or from the manufacturers with a few items missing, shall we say. Bone stock, this had no roof, no windows, no back windows, no horn, no trunk cover on the back. It is lacking when it comes to some of the basic creature comforts, if you will, and over the last 6 months I've added a few things to it. The good, I love the styling, love it from the first time I seen it, love the aggressive look of it. I bought this over the Commander, in fact, just because I like the styling of it better, and I didn't really need a bigger box or a dump box. This is a toy, it's a recreation machine, it's for fun. It's not a work machine, so, you know, not a big deal. I just like the shorter look of this. I like the more aggressive styling. It is more aggressively clutched, and I've tested ridden my buddy's Commander XTP, same shocks and different tires and wheels and stuff like that, but essentially same machines. This is noticeably different. At the end of the day, you can clutch the XTP, but again, to me, it all comes back to styling. If you're going to pay the kind of money they're asking for these, you might as well get what you want. And, you know, every time you come into the garage to get this thing fired up to go for a ride, I look at it, I'm like, I love that machine, don't have any regrets buying it. That said, Canam, like every other manufacturer, does stupid little things. Like when this was a Maverick Trail, 50-inch wide wheelbase, the small fenders that are on it that I sort of pointed later in this video, were fine. They look cool. I love the look of them. But with this Maverick Sport, which is 60 inches wide, or the Sport X series, which this would be, the XRC, XMR or XXC, 64-inch wide, they're absolutely useless. Why they don't add the bigger ones on there in the beginning and charge you an extra $200 or $300 on the price of the machine, I don't know. I would tell about it. I would have been happy to have it. I did upgrade the fenders on this anyway. Otherwise, it was just not a fun riding experience with the mud and stuff that gets thrown up there. So don't like that about it. I don't like how expensive they are, but then again, they're all expensive, so it is what it is. These motors supposedly are, you know, I know they have been around for quite a while. They're supposed to be solid motors, so that's good. But they are clunky. I mean, like knocks and clunks in the first few rides. I'm like, is this thing okay? Is this thing going to fall out of this? After you ride a little while, you get used to it. I'm sure every machine has their quirks. This is one of the quirks with these. So it is what it is, as they say. So you learn the clunks and the creaks and the cracks and the whistles and whatever else of the machine. You get used to it. It's normal. This has anti-sway bar front and rear. The front one is super clunky. I had it for a couple of rides, and I mean, I literally thought I had broken something in the front end. I stopped a couple times to get out, check stuff, couldn't find anything. I did actually grab the sway bar and shake it back and forth a bit. Nothing. When I got home, had it all cleaned up and had it in the garage, I got down and gave it a closer inspection, and the sway bar could move back and forth. I brought it back to the dealer. They took a look at it, and they did tighten everything up, so it has been good ever since. You know, not the end of the world. Most people take them off this. They recommend taking them off. I haven't had the need yet. I mean, the machine is plenty comfortable for me, so I'm okay with that. What else don't I like about this? Let me have a turn around and have a look. So that's about it, honestly. Like the amount of mud that it throws up with the wider wheelbase and not coming from the factory with fender flares that cover that or cover the most of it is wrong. That little clunk up there and getting used to the clunky transmission. Other than that, I mean, some people complain that they don't have enough power and all that stuff. It has 100 horsepower. This is the 1000R motor. I can hit 90, 100 kilometers an hour easy on it. I rarely ever ride that fast. I mean, we're riding trails. I don't really like the open road so much. I like the trails and technical stuff. This is perfectly fine for that. You put this in eco mode, put it in low, put it in 4-wheel drive, in rock or trail, doesn't matter. Lock differential, whatever. This thing is like a tractor. It just chugs along. So I love that about it. Love the styling of it. Love the color scheme of this machine, which is why I bought it. I actually had an XMR, and I went in on the day of to buy it to sign the paperwork, and I asked just the spec sheet on this, and I decided to buy this instead because this one, I like the color scheme, like I said. It also came with the heavier protection underneath the A-arms, front and rear, underneath here, and I think underneath the rear differential. That to me was more important than the snorkels. Other than the CVT or clutch exhaust, in order for me to get water into the vents on this, into the two upper vents, the motor air intake or the clutch intake, I will have water up to here. I don't plan on being the water up to here. Even with the CVT exhaust or the clutch case exhaust, clutch cover exhaust, if you get water into that, I'm going to be up to here in water. So again, don't plan on being that deep in water anytime soon or ever, hopefully. So I didn't really see the need for the XMR with the extra higher vents. I really like the tires off the XMR. These tires, definitely not a mud tire, excellent trail tire, way better in the snow than I expected, so I'm happy with that. What else am I happy with? Love the suspension. Some people complain a bit. It can be a bit rough, but I'm happy with it. I like to sit on soft. I'll leave it on soft. It works fine. So it is a little tight in the cockpit, but personally, I mean, I'm not a huge guy, but I find it comfortable. I like that sort of cocoon, snug in the machine. You sit nicely in this. You sit down in it a little bit more. You sit a little more upright than you do, say, in an X3 type, where you lean back a little more. You can see over the front of it easy. You can see the tires easy enough. They're covered up, obviously, with these bigger fenders, but I know exactly where my tires are. Visibility out of it is fine. Visibility out the back is kind of but pretty much the same for every side-by-side made, except for the real, utility versions. I haven't had a problem of backing up and running over anyone, or running into anyone, or running into a trees or rocks like that. If you're riding and driving and you're aware of your surroundings, unless you're in some crazy technical stuff, usually not an issue. I may put a rear view camera on it at some point, just because I like gadgets and tech, and that's sort of my career has been in that world. So I enjoy doing the installs. And other than that, I mean, that's just an overview. I just want to give a quick overview, which like I said, there's nothing major that I dislike about this machine. Every time I come in and look at it, I really like it. I still like it after 6 months. And I'm sure I'll love it for years to come, and I hope we get lots of good years of service and use out of it. So anyway, that's it. Right up next, I just walk around and talk about some of the upgrades that I've done to it. Some of you probably noticed already. The one thing I didn't mention in that piece of video is I did put this honking big orange hook up on the front. Doesn't do anything other than it was big and orange and stuck out better than the stock one did. But yeah, that's it. So enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all your guys' support. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications. Helps the channels grow, sort of thing. Every little bit of support goes a long way. A lot of time, a lot of effort goes into making these videos. I make $0 off any of this. I mean, I don't have enough subscribers anywhere near to monetize my channel, but it's not about that so much as there's sharing where we go, what we do, the kind of riding that we have around central Nova Scotia mostly, but we're as individuals are starting to spread out a bit. 2022, we had a cross Newfoundland trip this summer on an ATV. Then this summer we're going back. I planned a trip for 10 of us. We're going to go back and do it again. I mean, it's a lovely trip, and we have a ball doing it and have a ton of fun. But it's a little bit of everything. We're not crazy. We're not beating up on machines. I wish I could afford to take us out and just beat the snot out of it all day long for your guys' entertainment, but I can't unless you all like, subscribe, and share so I can monetize and afford it. Anyways, enjoy. Appreciate you guys watching.
And while I'm waiting for my buddy JD to show up, I'm just going to take a little quick walk around of my machine here and just give you an update where it is from where it was. It's pretty much 6 months old now. 2023 Maverick Sport XRC. Bought it brand new. When I bought it, I got the factory Canam roof. As you can see, the sport roof. On that sport roof, as you can probably notice too, I have the sport roof vent. I bought it just because it was on sale for Black Friday and for a good price, and I like the look of it on the roof. There is actually a working vent inside, which I may or may not use, but it is what it is. I also have the factory Canam trunk, which in my opinion is the best looking and the most spacious cargo option available for that machine. When I bought that, and still actually, it's just a nice box, watertight, easy installation, tons of room, looks good on the machine. I guess while I'm back here, I will show these LED whips and mounts. They came from Amazon. I actually got the whips for free. The mounts I did buy. I guess while I'm back here, I might as well just talk about that too. I have the rear windshield or window is Super ATV. It's just regular polycarbonate, not the hardened. I don't really like it. I regret buying it now. It was fairly cheap. It's got 3 lines, as you can see right there, in the design for the curvature of the roll cage, and the mirror, when you're looking in your rearview mirror, is right through those 3 lines. From my height, at least, I'm right around 5'10", and it's annoying. So it will go eventually. For now, it's going to stay, but I spent too much money already. Moving forward a little bit, I have these SCM hard windows. I went with those instead of the soft upper doors, or windows I call them. I like the styling of them. They are hardened polycarbonate. SCM is the manufacturer, I do believe, and bought them from U2V Direct out of, I want to say, Ohio. I think it's where they are, or Utah. Anyways, I'll have to look that and I'll put it in the bottom of the screen. Really nice, really like them, really clean to look out of. From me personally, just a much nicer door option, or upper door option, or window option, whatever you want to call that, than the soft ones. The downside is they don't zip out. They do have this vent here. I'm not sure how much venting that will do, honestly, but my plan is, I think if it's really hot, we don't ride really hot weather around here in Nova Scotia, Canada, but if it gets too hot in the summer, in the 20 to 30 degree range, then those windows will probably come off. So there's 8 bolts inside. Unfortunately, the way they come from the factory is 4 of those bolts, you got to remove the skin. I have some well nuts that I have bought that I'm going to try and use for those instead, so I can take all of the 8 bolts off from the inside, and that will make it easier. Let's move around to the front here. So in the front, you can't really see, I don't think, but I have LED bulbs for both high and low beam. No modifications necessary for the bulbs I use. You can buy different styles of bulbs. Some are slim or mini or whatever they call them, and they have a smaller plug-in on the back, so they fit in there. It came with a 4,500 pound winch, which is nice, from the factory. The other thing that I have added to these are these fender flares. These are the VIP Air. Those guys are out of Quebec. Canam would put these little small fenders on, which works fine for a trail with a 50-inch wheelbase, and not put the actual extenders on there for the X and the X, or the Sport and the Sport X series. Is beyond me. Well, money it is, but charge me an extra couple $100, I still would have paid it and bought the machine regardless. But without these flares here, this thing was literally covered top, back, in the trunk, everywhere in mud. Awful. Well, not a good riding experience at all. I have a fire extinguisher and a mount that I got the mount from Amazon as well. and it's a good thing to have. Haven't had to use it. Hopefully I never have to use it, but it's there if I do. Inside, what have we got done inside here? I have, oh yeah, my wiper motor and wiper motors off eBay. This one has 1 speed and auto park, which I like. I got to do a little bit of adjustment on it because it's not quite parked up as high as I want it, but you can see it there. And if you look closely, there, I have the wiper. I didn't want to drill holes in my pretty plastics, as I call them. I also have a washer in here, so I didn't use the sprayer nozzles that came with it. I bought a sprayer nozzle that actually, an extra hose, and ran it up the side of my frame, and goes over, it comes out underneath the roof, and the sprayer is actually on the wiper arm. So that's kind of cool. I like that. Inside, again, so the way I did it, I have the wiper and washer on the one switch, as you can see there. I also have a horn that I wired up to this thing. Not the sexiest horn, but hey, it works. It's loud enough to get someone's attention if I need it. I had this little bag that I got, again, off Amazon. Another freebie thing that I got. It's for a Polaris razor, but it fits in between this, holds some extra stuff. So I'm okay with that. I also have added, I'll show you the switch right now, and this is this one up here. It's a off or on switch, 3-position switch, and that controls this light up here. And I'll just flip that on. I kind of like it. Actually, it's one of the nicer lights that I've LED light bars that I've seen. So you got this mode here, which gives you the sort of old school trucker marker look lights sort of look, and then if you turn it on, you get a 140 watt LED light bar, and it doesn't look that bright there because we're in broad daylight with sunshine, but it is actually very bright. I had it out for one ride when it was dark, and it was the first ride I had it there. It was aimed way too high up in the woods type thing. I've since adjusted that, but it's nice light. I really like it. It's a sharp looking light as well. So here's what I'm talking about with the screws. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 can be removed as is. These 1, 2, 3, 4, you actually got to take the outside door skin off. That's my buddy JD showing up there. And the last thing that I'll talk about right now, I guess, is this here. The media center, media mount, media mod, whatever you want to call it. That was probably the first thing I put on there because I do a lot of ride planning, and I have an old iPad Air 2 or whatever it is that I use that mounts in here for my navigation. I use the Gaia app on that. It works really well. And it also gives you some extra storage. And I still get to keep using my 12-volt outlet, which is kind of nice. Oh, I also have a set of rock lights. So I just sort of put a little small switch that came with that right down there in the center console. And there's 4 of those. Right now they're just on solid red, but they can sort of change colors and all that stuff. Same thing with the whips. They can go solid colors, blank, flash, strobe, different colors.
Good morning.
Good morning. That's about it.
That's about it.
One big thing I failed to mention was my front windshield. Walked all around it, talked about everything that was on it and around it, but never talked about it. It is the bent metal aluminum frame windshield. It has the vents in the bottom there. I had them powder coated the desert tan to match the 23 Maverick Sport XRC colors. Really nice windshield. Works well.
Definitely keeps the elements out, rain, snow, whatever. Keeps the wind out of your face, because without a windshield, the wind comes directly in your face in these machines. The only thing that downside that I've noticed too, it is on probably my second or third ride out with it on during some rain, splashing through a couple of puddles. I had a different windshield wiper on. It was a one of those cheapy Amazon handheld ones. I don't know if you can notice it here or not, but it put a pretty good scratch in my window that goes right up here. So that was very disappointing. It's a glass windshield. I mean, it has a stamp on it that says automotive grade glass. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, to say the least. That said, I'm going to blame that on the cheapy, crappy Amazon hand operated windshield wiper. Outside of that, love that windshield. Looks sharp on the machine. The vents do, flow some air when you open them up. You had to be moving at half decent speed, of course. But anyway, I just need to run downstairs in the garage and give that thing a quick look and give it its due and mention it for my video. And that's what it looks like right there. Really nice windshield.